You might remember we visited Japan last year. For the first time ever, we have the chance to bring you an ADA seminar. Yusuke Homma has taken us on a 2-day journey to learn from nature, to create nature. We have visited a Japanese garden, experienced Zazen meditation, and seen an amazing sunset on the seaside. This whole journey led us to build a nature aquarium. Stay with us on this great adventure. The most unexpected, best reason to visit the land of the rising sun is to see a sunset. It's weird, but it was just the perfect moment at the end of a day. And this moment actually led us into the workshop itself on the day after. So the reason we visited the seaside is to learn about photography. As you know, composition is a huge part of aquascaping, and of course it's a huge part of photography as well. And these things are tied together, and you can learn a lot about both topics from doing both topics.
This is the camera that Mr. Amano used. It's an ebony 5x7, a straightforward camera.
Homma-san has shown us the actual camera that Amano-san used for his nature photography in the past.
The shutter speed will be 1 second.
We got a chance to check out the camera itself and to learn about how he makes his composition and how he uses the same techniques creating his aquascapes. The final photo that's been taken in the end has actually become the base of the whole workshop the next day.
The balance of this picture is created by the sun. Some symbols are so potent that they can balance out a massive boulder despite its small size in the background. Think of the sun, the moon, or even Mount Fuji. If, instead of the sun, there were a small island on the right, the image would lose its balance. It might have been a better composition if I could have moved the camera back a bit. But someone left footprints in the sand. Thanks, Tommy. When composing a photograph, your main goal should be to gradually eliminate the unnecessary parts, focusing on exactly what you want to highlight. This process, especially in nature photography, is closely tied to creating aquarium landscapes, a great hobby in itself. The use of Hakkai stones in nature aquariums has a long tradition. Their supreme hardness is what makes them special. The process of creating indentations takes a vast amount of time for nature, and that's what makes them valuable. These deformations make you imagine how much time it must have taken for the stone to form like this. Every stone holds a story of its journey. As you arrange them, you weave together their histories, crafting a narrative with each placement. That is the true essence of Iwagumi. Here's another Hakkai stone.
Collecting stones can be a hobby in itself. In traditional Japanese culture, suiseki are small naturally occurring stones that are appreciated for their beauty and power to evoke a natural scene or object, such as mountains, islands, or waterfalls.
Doesn't it resemble a waterfall? What's fascinating about this stone is that it contains iron. When exposed to water and sunlight, it gradually turns a reddish color, giving it character. This transformation mirrors the traditional Japanese aesthetic, which finds beauty in the process of change.
As I mentioned before, we had the perfect day for this seminar. Our luck began in the morning in this beautiful Japanese garden. As you know, Japanese gardens are a huge influence for aquascaping itself, and it's tied into our hobby in the deepest roots possible. And for our luck, the trees still had their beautiful, colorful foliage on them, which is unusual for this time in this part of Japan. Usually by the end of November, most of the leaves are fallen and the trees are empty, but it seems they've been waiting for us on this rainy morning to show their most appealing moment. Shimizu Garden was built 300 years ago. After the Second World War, it was restored by Tanaka Taimi, whose work influenced Takashi Amano himself.
This is my favorite spot. Sitting here, you can see a beautiful stone arrangement. The term Iwagumi originally comes from gardening, but it was Takashi Amano who introduced it to the world of nature aquariums. In traditional gardening, Iwagumi refers to stones standing upright, symbolizing mountains. However, in nature aquariums, stones are typically tilted by the flow of water. It's important to create a clear point of view, one that helps people understand the scene. Here's a photo of a stone arrangement from the Shimizu N garden, where the rocks are mostly upright. And here's an underwater shot, where the stones are tilted. This is actually Mr. Amano's very first Iwagumi Aquascape, built around 45 years ago, with only Halanthemum tenellum. The concept of nature aquariums is to replicate nature, drawing inspiration from various landscapes, towering mountains, where the tilted stone rule doesn't apply. Japanese forests like this image from Sado Island, where driftwood mimics the structure of cedar trees. As you can see here in nature aquariums, thin driftwood parts are often unnecessary because they get hidden by aquatic plants. Barren hills which can convert into very minimalistic Iwagumi, abstractly expressing the image. Balance and flow, shaped by the movement of water, are central to the nature aquarium style. As you can see today, everything is wet from the rain. It's not too bright, but there's a peaceful atmosphere. This calmness reflects the essence of wabi-sabi. Japanese architecture often uses wood, while Western architecture relies on stone. Wood, however, isn't eternal. It decays slowly, and the process of decay itself is also beautiful. This melancholic aging of wood is not particularly glamorous, but I seek beauty in those kinds of processes. This too is part of wabi-sabi. Take a look at this image. The stream flows from left to right. The stones are placed seemingly randomly, but there's an underlying pattern. Behind the large rocks, you can see open space. Strong currents whirl around them, moving smaller stones, while the larger ones stay grounded. This natural flow is a concept we often integrate into Iwagumi layouts. When creating a nature aquarium, you need to consider the movement of the water and the spaces it creates. The goal is to integrate natural water flow into the aquascape. Everybody is getting sleepy. Now, let's go outside and pick some stones for our aquarium.
It was a great surprise when Homma-san instructed us to go outside to look at the stones.
Only 2 persons to carry.
Yeah. 2 persons or 1 Tommy?
It was my first time being close up to Hakkai stones and feeling and seeing that texture. It's an amazing type of hardscape and also surprisingly heavy.
Okay.
Let's make sure we select the right rocks. Think of stones as actors in a film. If the main rock is Tom Cruise, the supporting rocks shouldn't outshine it. First, find your Tom Cruise. The main stone should be placed so that its best side faces the viewer, just like how you would showcase Tom Cruise's best features.
Tom Cruise.
Taking part in the selection and rotating the stones to show all the possible faces to Homma-san was a great way to be included in the seminar.
I think this stone will work. This tank and the other one I made show a distinct difference. If anything, this one feels more contest-oriented, while the one over there feels more natural and relaxed, with space left beneath the water surface. It's a subtle difference, but this one just feels more at ease, more connected to nature. I want more people to experience aquariums and to see them as a form of art on par with Japan's traditional arts. Right now, the focus is mostly on contests, but it's important to understand what the original nature aquariums, created by Mr. Amano, really look like. I've always focused on this natural approach, so yes, I'm going to build a classical, natural Iwagumi in this tank.
クラシックなネイチャーアクアリウムのスタイルの岩組です。
In Japanese gardens, there's always a specific spot that offers the best view of the garden. There is a large flat stone in front of the pond, right? That is designed to be this garden's best viewpoint. The area at the very back of the garden is typically considered sacred ground where the gods reside. It's designed to give you the feeling of walking in a place blessed by the divine.
感じになります。ではですね。
Now, let's start with the base soil for the 120p tank. First, we add power sand. It's rich in nutrients, and it includes pumice, which helps with water filtration. We also mix in bacteria that help activate the soil, preventing it from losing effectiveness over time. We've also added Bacter 100, Clear Super, and Tourmaline BC. Bacter 100 is full of activated bacteria, while Clear Super serves as their home. Tourmaline BC contains finely crushed bamboo charcoal and tourmaline, which helps distribute electrical charge, stimulating the plant's root growth. For the substrate, we're using Aqua Soil Amazonia version 2, which also includes root tabs, which we placed under the soil. Now we level out the substrate. For rock layouts, the soil is generally flat, but for wood-based designs, we usually raise the back by about 10 centimeters. Here's the main stone, the oyaishi. I'm thinking of placing it like this. The back looks like this. It's a bit too plain maybe. The other side has more character, which would better express the effect I'm going for. We've placed the stone in the tank. What do you think? Maybe it's a bit too low. Can we raise it just a bit? By tilting it, we can create shadows, adding more depth and impact to the stone's surface. When you lay it down like this, there is more light on the stone's surface. The idea is that if you tilt it, a shadow forms here, right? That gives it more impact.
Even after spending a lot of time outside, checking the stones and trying to find the best main stone for the build, Homma-san has tried different stones to get to the final result. It was just great to see how they turn degree by degree all the stones to get to perfection and to find their perfect position. The stone that Homma-san originally chose for secondary stone actually ended up being a third supporting stone. So even when you pre-select, you make changes on the go, and that's why it's important to plan and spend time on building your hardscape.
Now, the right side is done. The top of the main stone should be around 2/3 of the tank's height. If it's lower than that, it loses some of its impact. Now, let's work on the left side. As I mentioned earlier, the water flows from the right and creates open space as it swirls around the rock. This makes the left side feel more suppressed in comparison to the main structure. This stone is larger than the main one, right? It might turn out cooler than Tom Cruise, but I don't want that.
トム・クルーズみたいにかっこよくはさせたくないの。せーの。よし。
At first we placed this stone like this, but the rough surface created too many shadows, making it feel too strong. Can we rotate it? See, this side is much smoother. When making panoramic rock arrangements, it's about creating impact and stability through rhythm and repetition. From above, the stones shouldn't line up straight. Instead, they should follow a zigzag pattern to create a sense of flow. Okay? As you can see, the difference between the main stone and the supporting ones is clear. The main stone has a smooth surface with rounded edges, while the others are rougher and more wild-looking. Shall we change the Oyaishi stone? This new one feels more dynamic and impactful because of the huge shadow on the front here, but it still doesn't quite harmonize with the other hardscape elements.
To find harmony in your builds, in your aquascapes, it's important to find harmony in yourself.
Mr. Amano spent a lot of time practicing Zazen meditation. Those experiences played a significant role in shaping his approach to nature aquariums. Now, we'll invite you to try this same meditative process here at a Buddhist temple.
Experiencing Zazen meditation was a great way to get well close to this. Obviously, it doesn't happen in one occasion, but going through this experience was something else. I'm not a very spiritual person and probably not the best to describe this feeling, but imagine yourself being on the edge of your conscious living and falling asleep, and not because you're bored and it's dark and it's warm, your mind actually just goes away for a few minutes. The Osho described Buddhism as a system of the universe. Its most important aspect is the impermanence of all things. Suddenly the tank was empty and Homma-san started working on the final scape.
全体にちょっと左の方やってみようか。ちょっとさっきみたいに上げてみてくれるここ真上。あ、行き過ぎ行き過ぎ。
Even though I didn't understand the words, it was quite fascinating to watch Homma-san instructing the Suike creators.
Okay.
I definitely want to try this someday, just telling people what to do.
でもうちょいね中に入るかな。うん。あ、ちょっとそこで止めてみて。
This new arrangement is a cutout from the natural world. I thought it would be boring to have the same rock formation again. So, unlike previous layouts, this one is a Japanese Iwagumi using 3 large stones. This time, I'm incorporating more smaller rock pieces. Don't worry about it feeling too wild. The plants will soften the look. The Japanese Iwagumi style is basic and easy to create, but it can easily feel artificial, like something man-made. Bringing nature into your home, though, there's nothing more enriching than that. Having a piece of natural beauty in your house is a gift, don't you think? Once the plants are in, the gaps between the stones will fill, making it look more natural. Later, we're going to plant hair grass here. The suteishi we are placing here will prevent the plants from spreading in that direction, thus creating a more open space, which will thin out the density of the hair grass. Also, this sacrificial rock won't be visible in the grown-in version, but its purpose is served without being visible. We're using 2 types of Aqua Soil Amazonia version 2, the regular one, which we already used, and now comes the fine powder type. This one fills the gaps between the grains, preventing them from floating up when we fill the tank. It also looks much more tidy, because it can be arranged nicely, like decorative sand.
Homma-san and his team are working like an orchestra. Everyone knows their place and everyone knows what they should be doing and what they have to do to make the build as efficient as possible. And all this precision was, well, amazing to see.
Now that the composition is ready, we spray the stones and soil with water. This helps secure the stones in place, and we prefer planting in moist soil. Okay, now let's start planting. For the foreground plants, we'll use Glossostigma elatinoides and Eleocharis acicularis. I'll use these metal sticks to mark the planting spots. In this position, I'll use hair grass. It is going to be right in front of the stone, isn't it? The idea is to hide this edge of the rock. Now, between these two stones, we are going to use acicularis again. By filling this gap with hair grass, it creates a sense of unity between these two stones. This area will be Glossostigma, and above it from here, hair grass will continue. The Eleocharis will stretch all the way up to this area. Over a long period, say around 3 months, the Glossostigma will lose its significance because it'll be covered by the hair grass. However, placing Glossostigma in this gap, it slows down the hair grass's growth speed, thus creating a hiatus that gives a natural feel. And this part in front of the main stone will be covered with Glossostigma elatinoides, which grows shorter. In this way, it won't hide the stone, unlike the hair grass, which would weaken it. Let me show you on this piece how to make the most of stone elements. In terms of emphasizing the stone, if some parts of it are not that appealing, one way to hide it is to just plant in front of it. Alternatively, by adding plants in the back, the outline of the better parts gets accentuated. The soil in the back slopes down, creating a natural gradient. The plants will follow this slope, higher on the left, lower on the right. If we had only used long hair grass, it would lack a natural feeling, so I'll mix in a little Eleocharis vivipara as well. When planting the long hair grass here, the important thing is not to plant it in a straight line. Plant it in a zigzag pattern. Mixed planting is not just about the natural look, but rather, it allows the plants to fight each other. It's the same with humans, isn't it? We thrive through competition. Alright, the scape is done. As you can see, the water flows from left to right, swirling around the Oyaishi stone. The current carries smaller rocks, giving them a rougher, more dynamic look. Now, we're filling the tank with tap water, just a few centimeters for now. This helps remove dust from the hardscape and soil. After draining this initial water, we'll fill it again from that 3-meter-long tank over there. You can always spot minor issues with a freshly filled up tank, but it's better not to strictly control everything. Nature can't be forced. Letting things flow naturally is what creates a beautiful aquatic environment.
OK。ここでこの水槽の方は、完成で終わりです。
All the people at ADA are trying to keep a legacy alive, and it's not just the legacy of Takashi Amano, it's the legacy of our connection to nature, and how we perceive nature and how we respect nature. After the workshop, I had the chance to talk to Homma-san, and his biggest worry was if we can actually show you what they tried to teach us, because he says he can't really explain everything he wants to explain to us. The Western mind is so different from the Japanese culture that we can't completely comprehend all the things we've experienced. But you can see how much thought, how much mindfulness, how much emotion goes into building a simple Iwagumi. A lot of people say it's just a few pieces of rocks, but it's much more than that. Homma-san, I really hope your message goes through with this video, and I hope that we bring Iwagumi and the nature aquarium closer to people all around the world.